Good morning and welcome to Ask the Expert, an award-winning daily series from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. to help small businesses to grow and succeed. If you have got any questions during the show, then please put them in the comments in the live feeds and I will do my best to answer them. If you need any advice, then please make sure you join the official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook. There's accountants such as myself and business experts available on hand 24/7, all sharing their knowledge and experience to help each other out. During the live session, we'll be running a poll, so please engage with it, and I will reveal the results at the end. My name's Johann Goree, and I am the Managing Director of the OnPoint Accounting Group. We've got a number of brands which are across the country supporting clients, primarily small businesses, to grow and succeed and to understand their finances better. Over the last few weeks, we've been having a real big push on making tax digital and getting our clients ready for that and helping them understand what's going on. So like I spoke about a couple of weeks ago when I was last on, making tax digital is coming, but what we've noticed in the last few weeks is the feedback coming from our clients that actually, whilst they're embracing software such as QuickBooks for the ability to make tax digital and to be compliant with HMRC's new guidelines that are coming out, they're really loving the benefits that they're seeing from this. So I just wanted to take you through kind of the top 4 or 5 benefits that our clients are feeding back to us on how impressed they are with QuickBooks and the software and what it's allowing them to do for, in most cases, the first time ever. And then the ones that have been doing it on that kind of spreadsheets and stuff, it's actually giving them more time back, they're saving time, and they're having more accurate insights into their business. So when we're using QuickBooks and we're managing QuickBooks, we always recommend you do it as regularly as possible. So we've got some clients that do it monthly, that's fine, but your data is always a month old. We've got clients that do it weekly, that's great, that's more accurate data, more live data. You're going to understand the banking transactions, etc., more frequently. And we've even got clients that do it daily. So I, for example, my first job every morning is I come in and I look at the QuickBooks for accounts for each of our businesses. I have a look at the reports, compare this this month compared to this day last month, see where we're up and down. I make sure the bank is reconciled for everything. And it takes me minutes a day to go through all of that. So if you keep on top of it daily, it really is a very small task. But the benefits are huge. We get to see our live data. I can stem problems before they become a bigger problem. We've got clients that are constantly in QuickBooks monitoring their businesses because they're maybe not involved in their business as much. So we've got restaurant owners who they might go into the restaurant once, twice a week just to check in, see how people are doing, talk to the customers. The rest of the time, they're off doing other things. They're doing other bits of interest, but they're constantly monitoring the business through QuickBooks' financial reporting and stuff. So it's a really powerful tool when it's fully embraced. And the bits that our clients are absolutely loving, our top kind of top 4 tools at the moment that we're getting the most positive feedback on and are really useful because clients are doing this really regular bookkeeping, or they've got us doing their really regular bookkeeping, are, first of all, the receipt capture. So clients are amazed that they can open the QuickBooks app, take a picture of the receipt or an invoice. That goes into QuickBooks. QuickBooks processes that, it understands it, it reads it, picks out the figures. Either they, the client, or we can then sense check that data and we can match it to the bank transaction, or they can match it to the bank transaction, and that's it, it's done. They don't need to worry about storing that receipt into a filing cabinet. It can be destroyed because we've got an electronic copy and HMRC are happy with that. So that is saving a lot of clients a lot of time of trying to go through manually entering receipts onto a spreadsheet or into their accounting software, because that receipt capture does a lot of it for you. So there's a lot of time being saved. Our clients are really loving the receipt capture facility and the time savings they're getting and the confidence that they don't have to worry about misplacing a receipt or losing anything, or the receipt being in your pocket too long and it fading on a summer's day because of it's thermal paper. So they absolutely love that. The next big time-saving tool is the banking rules. So we've got a lot of clients who reconcile their own bank through QuickBooks, or at least they process the transactions in the bank feed. We might then come in and check those, check the categorizing, and we'll check the bank reconciling and do that bit. But they're processing the transactions each month. And they're just saving loads and loads of time because they're using banking rules. So QuickBooks, after a few transactions, happening the same way. So if you have a transaction from Spotify, you put it to subscriptions, then they will put it into the, they'll put it, QuickBooks will recommend a rule, and that's fantastic because that rule then automatically follows every time and it automatically deals with that transaction for you. So you're saving time there. You can also build rules and create rules, saving huge amounts of time. The other key feature they love is cash flow. They're actually getting an insight based on accurate bank balances onto how their business is going to perform. If they do something, they can build a scenario into there and add things and take things away so they can see the impact. So their potential cash flow over the next year or two. And the fourth is the reporting. The fact that there's a profit and loss or a balance sheet, that if you're doing your banking regularly, you can have good confidence that it is accurate and it's at a click of a button, and you can compare compared to last year. If you've got QuickBooks on a more premium product, then you can use budgets as well. So yeah, some really great tools there that if you use them properly, they save you loads of time, and they also give you so much insight into your business. I think it's really important that as accountants, we show you the benefits of using tools such as QuickBooks. And we don't just say, oh, you've got to use something like QuickBooks. You've got to do this. This is the HMRC telling you got to do this. It is, but it's such a small aspect that actually, yes, you have to file your data for a certain way now for Making Tax Digital for VAT, and it's going to come in place for income tax, and it's going to come in place for corporation tax. But the huge benefits of using a tool like QuickBooks compared to using a tool like a spreadsheet, for example, is phenomenal. Like we've got a client who sells on various selling platforms online, so Shopify, Amazon, etc. And they were spending loads and loads of time entering data into a spreadsheet. And their concern was, oh, if I've got to do it with QuickBooks, I've just got to say, I'm just going to use the same amount of time entering it into QuickBooks. Well, no, not at all. We can take a plugin like SAS1, and SAS1 will take the data from Shopify and Amazon, and it'll pull it in, and it'll put it into QuickBooks for you. So it's entering that sales data for you. So again, we found a huge time saving for them. So as I say, while Making Tax Digital is moving everyone onto software, and that is important, the huge benefits in other aspects of using software mean that even if you don't need to be on software yet for Making Tax Digital, so if you're not VAT registered and you don't need to be on software yet for income tax or corporation tax, which is going to happen over the next 5 years, the power that QuickBooks gives you as a business owner for your finances and the insights means we recommend you do it from day one. So whenever clients come up to us and say, we're starting a business, is that fantastic? Let's get you a QuickBooks license. Let's plug your bank into it. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's save you some time. It means they've got more time to spend on launching and growing that business. So even though they aren't legally required to use software, we say from day one, let's get into best practice. Let's get into saving that time so you can invest it elsewhere in your business, especially when you're starting out. It's so important that you spend time in the right places. And let's face it, doing your books, entering your figures, that's not the priority when you are starting a business. The priority is launching, getting people be aware of your business, making your sales. That's what matters. So there's absolutely huge benefits to using something like QuickBooks from day one of your business, even if you aren't required by law to use an accounting software to file your tax returns yet. It's definitely worth having a look, seeing what the benefits are, and getting it up and running, and getting your accountant to give you a hand to get it up and running. And choose an accountant that's going to support QuickBooks. If you want to use QuickBooks, get an accountant that's going to support it. I spoke to someone yesterday. Their accountant doesn't understand QuickBooks, never used it, doesn't want to use it, and they're having to ask us to do some work so the other accountant can do the annual accounts. It doesn't make any sense. Whereas we can help them do their accounts, but we can also help them understand QuickBooks, understand the data they've got. So just make sure your accountant is on board with your decision as well. So let's take some questions. We've got some questions lined up already. Shiv on Instagram DM has asked, I'm starting to explore apps for QuickBooks. What are the top 3 automation tools you use? What do they do, and how much time has it saved? So any app that automates your data. Okay. I don't know what business you're in, Shiv, but as I say, we've got loads of online retailing clients. So OneSAS has saved them loads of time, because OneSAS talks directly to Shopify, Amazon, and many more, pulls the data into QuickBooks in the form of sales data. And it's all there. You don't need to sit there and enter it manually. So that's a huge time saver. We've got a lot of physical shops, restaurants, and bars that use iZettle, or Zettle as it's now called. And that links directly into QuickBooks. So the daily sales go straight into QuickBooks. Big time saving on sales data entry there. And receipt capture. Whether you're using QuickBooks' own receipt capture, Dext, auto entry, whichever method you want to use, the fact that you can take your picture, they read it, of your receipt, it reads it, it enters the data into QuickBooks for you. It's a huge time saver. And then there's absolutely tons of other apps. So if you go to apps.com, that's the QuickBooks App Store. You can search by category, you can search by ratings, and you can see all the different options out there for time tracking, receipt capture, retail sales, online sales, inventory, CRMs, all sorts that talk to QuickBooks. And every job you're not doing saves you time. So I hope that helps, Shiv. As I say, app.com is the app store for QuickBooks, and you can see absolutely every app in their ecosystem there. Our next question from Hal on Facebook Messenger. Me and a friend run a building company as a side hustle, but are about to make it our full-time occupation. I want to make sure we're as financially safe as possible. Should we get an investor with a stake in the business equity, or are we better off getting a loan? Okay, so if you're running this building company as you call it, a side hustle, I'm not a fan of the term side hustle. You're running a business, regardless of whether it's your full-time business or part-time. You're running a business. So you're running a business. You're kind of in test mode, beta mode. You're seeing if it's working. You're seeing if there's demand, and you want to go full-time. That's fantastic. Because you've been running it in beta mode, you will know what your financial performance is for the hours you're putting in. So if you take that and then you say, right, at the moment we're doing 20 hours a week in the business and we're getting this, what if we do 40 hours? Will that double? Do the costs increase? Do they decrease? How much do the sales increase by because you're doing 40 instead of 20? So I would work that bit out first and then consider whether you need to go and get an investor or a business loan. The problem you're going to have is Construction had a really rough year at the start of last year with big businesses going bust. So investors and banks are wary of the industry. They see it as quite a high risk industry. They also, but banks are just not lending money as much as they used to at the moment because of the COVID crisis, and the impact we're still waiting to see on the businesses. And investors aren't really interested in very small businesses. Now, I don't know how big you're planning to run the business straight away, but I would certainly consider taking the data you've collected already as running it in like a beta test, or as you call it, a side hustle, and then analyzing that data, and maybe get a professional to give you a hand. So get an accountant or bookkeeper to help you analyze and understand the data and work out what it's going to project to if you go full time. And then potentially don't take a loan or an investor on at all. It might be your business can perform well enough financially to go ahead. Now, remember, there's always a risk in running a business. It's never a safe option. If you take out a loan, you're going to have to start repaying that from month one. If you take on an investor, they're going to want certain results, or they could want all their money back in a very short period of time of notice. So even taking those options, you're actually putting yourself at risk. So I would put those plans for income and equity on the side. I'd focus on what data you've already got, understand how it's going to change and increase when you go full time. And if you need a hand with any of that, have a look for an accountant or bookkeeper near you. Drop me a message on LinkedIn. I'd be more than happy to help you with that. It's something I do quite a lot of. And we can have a chat and go through it in more detail. So I hope that helps, Hal. Our next question is from Brooke on Twitter DM. Is there a way in QuickBooks to see what VAT you have added to invoices in a report so I know what to expect to pay? Okay, Brooke, if you're using QuickBooks, on the left-hand side as you're looking at the screen on a computer, not on your phone, on your app, but on a computer. If you're using QuickBooks Simple Start, Essentials, or Plus, on the left-hand side is an option called Taxes. In there, if you've set up your VAT, it will have a VAT tab. Click on there, and it will give you a live feed of the VAT due to HMRC at that time, because it's constantly calculating the VAT you're collecting from your invoices, the VAT you've spent on your purchases, and it's working out how much you need to pay to HMRC or how much they're going to pay back to you. So really simple, easy to see there. Again, if you're struggling with it, go onto the QuickBooks Pro Advisor website. You can put your postcode in there. It'll recommend Pro Advisors, give you reviews on them from their customers. That will be able to help you with this. Again, though, drop me a message on LinkedIn or Facebook or something if you want to have a chat. There's also lots of videos on YouTube from different providers showing you how to do that kind of stuff. But yes, QuickBooks will give you a live VAT figure as it changes throughout the days and weeks and months as you get towards your VAT period. So you can always be putting enough money to one side for that bill, which is always a top tip. Our next question from Arthur on Instagram DM. I've been putting off selling into Europe following Brexit, but now I'm hoping to drive more sales there. I've heard about the one-stop shop VAT, but I'm not sure I understand it. What do I have to be aware of? Arthur, I've not dealt with one-stop shop VAT yet. I've been reading up on it recently, but I've yet to read all the detail I need to read to be able to advise you on this. I would have a look for an accountant in your area and check that they understand and they've read up on it, and then have a word with them and get their advice. But I wouldn't be confident to tell you about one-stop shop yet, because it's something we've not had to deal with our client base yet. And for that reason, we've not prioritized reading up on it just yet. So unfortunately, I can't help you with that one, Arthur, but I'm sure if you go to the QuickBooks Pro Advisor website again and have a look for accountants near you that use QuickBooks, you'll be able to find someone that's got an experience with one-stop shop, and they'll be able to talk you through it. Okay, Our next question is from Fahim on Twitter DM. Is it a good or bad idea to display your VAT number on your website? Why do some companies do this? So there's no legal reason you need to provide your VAT number on a website. You should put your VAT number on your invoices, especially larger invoices that it's a requirement to have your VAT number on it. But if you, some companies will put their VAT number on their website because they think it shows that they're a bigger company. There are companies out there, especially public funded bodies like the NHS, etc. They tend to always ask, "Oh, are you VAT registered?" Namely, because they want to know if they're going to be if your price is going to result in them getting some VAT back, if it includes VAT, and so they can ensure your quote is accurate. But also because there's a false sense that you're a safer bet. So there's a stigma in the world of business that if you're VAT registered, you must be a big business, you're doing a good turnover, you're a safe bet. So people put the VAT numbers on their websites for that reason, because it implies that they're bigger than they are. I could go and set up a business tomorrow, go VAT registered tomorrow, have no turnover, but I'll have my VAT number. So it's a bit of a false illusion, but that's normally why people put it on their websites. Also, it's often a thing that businesses will ring up and say, "Oh, have you got your VAT number? I need it for my data system, etc., to process your payment, or to set you up as a supplier on our system. I need your VAT number." So it's helpful to have it on the website. People might Google it before they ring you to save you some time. So I hope that helps, but it's entirely up to you. There's no legal reason to have it on your website. As I say, just a bit of a false stigma in the world of business that's been developed over the years. Okay, our next question from, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, I think, Lena, sorry about that, on Facebook Messenger. "Hi, Johann. I run a small Etsy shop doing illustrations. I've had a customer ask if I can design something for her and then buy the copyright for the design from me. I've never done this before. Should I do it? And if so, what do I charge? Any advice would be fantastic. Thank you." Okay. So the reason they want the copyright is because they're going to want to use this item in their marketing. They're going to want to use it on their website potentially. They're going to use it, whatever they're going to use it for. They don't want to run the risk of you selling the same image or illustration to someone else. And it's quite common in the graphics industry that aspects of one logo will be used in another. Or someone will go to a graphic designer saying, "I love this illustration, this logo, whatever it is. Can you do something similar?" And they'll do something similar, and it could be borderline to copywriting. So that's why this person wants it. I don't know from your message what the illustration's of. I don't know how much you charge for your illustrations. The first question you need to ask yourself is, do you want that person to own the image, or do you want to own the image? If you've not got an issue with that person owning the image, then sell them the copyright and just know you can't use it for anything ever again. That's fine. As to how much it's worth, how long's a piece of string, if I'm honest? The value is perceived by you and by the purchaser. You and the purchaser might think it's worth lots of money. I look at it and I think it's worthless. So it's really a conversation you need to have with that person about what they're going to use it for, understand what they're going to use it for. If they're going to put it on a brand new product that's going to be on the shelves in Sainsbury's or Tesco or wherever, and it's got to be eye-catching, it's going to help sell loads of product, then I'd say it's worth a lot more than if it's just a logo they're putting on the website. It's not really, or an illustration for their website, it's not really going to do much. So it's understanding all that bit that will help to understand how much it's worth, and just ask yourself whether you want them to own it or you own it. Ask around, ask your peers. Some people will sell it, some people wouldn't, and just understand what their reasons are. Facebook's communities are fantastic for asking those kind of questions in. So I hope that helps. Ronnie on Instagram DM. I've heard talk of HMRC and or banks doing investigations off the back of recovery loans. Is this true? If they are happening, how much time could one take? And what's the best way to approach one? HMRC have just appointed hundreds of new auditors, investigators, as it used to be called, because they're looking into furlough, self-employed income support, etc. So they are aware of the potential fraud that's happened there, and they are looking into it. It could happen between now and the next 5 years. Banks and HMRC aren't too fussed by the bounce back loan bit, the recovery loans and stuff. That's the bank's domain. Banks will probably look at it if you've decided to go bankrupt and you can't afford to pay the loan back. They will look into what's happened and whether you took the loan out faithfully and followed all the rules. How long an investigation takes, it can vary. We've had letters through for VAT checks, etc., self-employed income support, furlough checks, and it's taken one email with some evidence, and that's it, they've gone away. Others have taken days of phone calls, meetings, etc., to go through all the detail because they're more complex. So it really is down to case-by-case scenario and whether what they're looking at and why they're looking at it. But yeah, no, HMRC aren't looking at bounce back loans and recovery loans and stuff. Banks might be, if they feel there's a risk that you're insolvent or you applied for the loan and gave false information to get the loan, or if you go insolvent and shut down the business, they may well look at it, but there has to normally be a trigger. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it until it's there. And if you ever do get an investigation, just have a chat with your accountant. That's what they're there for. They'll help you out with that. Right, last few minutes. So last couple of questions then. Diego on Twitter DM. I'm starting a new physiotherapy business. I want to use my maiden name. Will this impact on my public liability insurance? I don't think so. I'm not an insurance expert, but the name doesn't normally impact on public liability insurance. They're looking more how, what are the chances of you causing injury to your clients, having a lasting and damaging impact, etc. But the business name shouldn't, from my experience, has never had an impact on public liability insurance. So I hope that helps. Priya on Facebook Messenger, do you have any advice on how to forecast? The pandemic has really highlighted to me how hard it is to predict and plan for the unexpected. When we're forecasting, we're always putting a finger in the air, really. There's always going to be things that around the corner we can't expect and plan for. Don't be presumptuous. Don't overestimate would be my top tip. Use the data, use historic data to come up with sound judgments, and get an expert in. Get your accountant or your bookkeeper to give you a hand with it. Sit down and do it together, because they'll be more realistic. They'll take their experience of all their other clients and how they've performed and what they've done over the years to help you build a more accurate forecast. So yeah, top tip, get your accountant or bookkeeper who's got experience dealing with multiple industries, multiple clients, and they can pull all that information and experience and help you create a more accurate forecast. So that's all the time we've got for today. I hope that's all been helpful. Some really good questions in there. So the poll we asked you are, how regularly do you use your QuickBooks? 20% of you said daily. Fantastic, guys. Well done to those. 50% said weekly. Brilliant. You're still going to have really good, accurate data there. 20% of you said monthly. I would suggest trying to bring it into fortnightly and then weekly. The more regularly you update your QuickBooks, the more regular and accurate your data is and more live it is. So that's always a fantastic way to do it. And then 10% of you said not at all. QuickBooks is such a powerful tool. I hope I've really highlighted that to you today. If you're not using it, definitely worth checking it out on the website and having a look. Go to YouTube, have a look at the videos so you can get an idea of what it can do. And of course, you can always reach out to myself and my team, and we're happy to help. So thank you all for tuning in today. If you want to get in contact with me, you can send me a message on LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook. Just search Johann Goree and I will appear, I'm sure. Or Google me and you'll find the company websites and you can drop us a message through that. Just say for attention of Johann Goree. Coming up on Ask the Expert on Monday is Aaron Patrick, an accountant, QuickBooks Pro Advisor and Head of Accounts at Office. He's also got a fantastic YouTube channel helping everyone understand what's going on. So tune in to get advice on accounting and the latest features and tools that will make your bookkeeping easier. A reminder that if you need any more advice, join the official Intuit QuickBooks S&B community group on Facebook. There's accountants and business experts on there 24/7, answering questions, sharing their experience and their knowledge. I've really enjoyed answering all your questions this morning. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you in a couple of weeks. Thank you.